In December 2022, it came to pass that I heard that Calgary Housing Company had once again a rental assistance program for those who had a private landlord. Since then, I've continued to run to people who were not aware, as in zero notification. Evidently, back already in April of 2021, Calgary Housing Company had brought in rent assistance benefit and temporary rent assistance benefit programs. Furthermore, if you were already on the wait list with Calgary Housing Company for subsidy, you would be automatically registered and approved. But so much more going on. So as Google and I are best friends, and delving further, it turns out on March 8, 2019, the National Housing Strategy Bilateral Agreement, which is a 10-year agreement between the Government of Canada and the Government of Alberta, was signed. The mandate of this is to invest $678 million to protect, renew, and expand social and community housing in Alberta. As it turns out, already on June 30th, 2016, the Federal and Alberta Governments signed a social housing agreement to deliver affordable housing to Albertans. Going back further, there was also the Investment in Affordable Housing Agreement, a supposed commitment by the governments of Canada and Alberta to invest $323 million over 8 years, so from 2011 to 2019, to help more individuals, seniors, and families access affordable housing. Since elementary, I was taught that as Canada supposedly is a free and democratic society whereby the governments are responsible for and representative of its peoples, that the citizens are protected by the rights and freedoms of the Canadian Constitution, including everyone should feel safe and not live in constant fear of not having their basic needs, such as secure housing, being met. Canada has also seemingly adopted the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I went ahead and contacted the Prime Minister, Federal Conservative leader, Federal NDP leader, Federal Bloc Québécois leader, my Member of Parliament, all the Alberta legislative members, including Premier Danielle Smith, all the City of Calgary councillors, including, of course, the Mayor. As well, I contacted both the Federal and Alberta Auditor Generals and the Alberta Ombudsman to investigate. I also requested a public inquiry into the allocation of these funds for housing here in Alberta, including, but not limited to, the exact breakdown of recipients versus non-recipients with private landlords who may be associated with a subsidized housing program and by month. Also, to clarify how that would work if not affiliated with a subsidized housing program. I also brought up as, for example, how the government has already spent upwards of $6 billion on the Ukraine-Russian war, while not ensuring its own citizens have safe havens in their own home country. So, in speaking, including other advocates, to Calgary Housing Company, even though a person was approved, they would still be on an indefinite wait list. So basically giving no hope to people already struggling to be able to have their basic needs met. To add to it, according to the Alberta Housing Minister's Office, there is actual legislation that has a rating system and that you get more points if there is more than one person in the household. Plus, the more people, the better score too. Told that being a single household is actually a disadvantage and, in quotes, sorry. No response, of course, from the federal government or federal auditor general. There, of course, has been no response from the Premier or the other MLAs. No response, of course, from the City of Calgary. The Office of the Ombudsman, of course, is not of a position to do an administrative review. The Auditor General of Alberta that might consider in future audit work, so no to individual requests. Finally, also a fun fact, that now if one is on the waitlist for Horizon Housing and do not accept a unit when it becomes available, you will be removed from the waitlist. So now if you are on a lease, for example, you would have to break that lease. This, of course, has legal and financial ramifications for those already being marginalized. To sum up, so on its face, there are agreements, initiatives, and programs. But in reality, the support is not there for the most vulnerable citizens, most of which their voices go unheard and no one to stand up and by them. And the only ones who are ending up benefiting from the one-time rental assistance programs are the landlords, especially with no caps on rent increases. Thanks for listening.